Hello everyone, my name is Justin Sanchez, and this is my project, the Taylor Park Texas Creek Fuel Management Plan. This project was completed in collaboration with Western Colorado University and the United States Forest Service Gunnison Ranger District. My project was based in Taylor Park, Colorado. Taylor Park is not only a beautiful landscape with great views, it is truly a land of many uses, from many different forms of recreation, logging, and other businesses to wilderness areas. This means there are many different management concerns in Taylor Park. Because of this need for updated management, the Forest Service completed a new environmental assessment for Taylor Park in 2020. This is where my project fits in. As an undergrad, I assisted a graduate student in collecting data for the Taylor Park environmental assessment. This led me to want to continue working in Taylor Park. As such, the objectives of my project were to assist the Forest Service in collecting data in an area of Taylor Park called Texas Creek. The objective of my project in Texas Creek was to collect fuel and forest health data to characterize the conditions in the area before it is thinned and burned. The picture seen in the slide is Texas Creek as pictured in the Taylor Park Environmental Assessment. The checkered area is 508 acres and is prescribed for burning. The orange area is 635 acres and is an area to be thinned, but has not yet been given a specific type of thinning prescription. The yellow has already been given the prescription of pre-commercial thinning, and the turquoise has been given the prescription of mistletoe sanitation. The concerns around Taylor Park in my project area of Texas Creek are white dwarf mistletoe infestations that are only continuing to worsen. Mistletoe makes trees more susceptible to burning by choking off the tree's nutrients and drying them out, eventually killing them, which, with an infestation, proves to be a wildfire hazard. Another concern for the area is climate change, which has been causing increased droughts, which can exacerbate fire conditions into being more severe. Human proximity in the area is another concern, not only for wildfires, but for prescribed burning. Even when used as a management tool, fire always has the potential of escaping the manager's control with unforeseen conditions and negatively affecting human activity in the area. This is why it is important for managers to have as much information before a prescribed burn as possible to avoid impacting people and livelihoods in the area while still achieving their management goals. For this project, I conducted 2 surveys in Texas Creek to characterize the conditions there. The first of which was the Browns Fuel Transect. I completed 102 of the Browns transects to characterize the surface fuel conditions of the downed woody material in Texas Creek. The second survey done was the Forest Service Common Stand exam and characterized the live tree conditions. I completed 52 of these surveys to combine with the Browns Fuel Transect data to gain an understanding of both surface and live tree conditions. I took this data and input it into a fire modeling program called FireBehave Plus. I used the data collected from both the Browns transects and Common Stand exams to build fire models. These 2 surveys, however, were not sufficient in capturing all the data that need to be inputted into FireBehave Plus. Other data was collected from Taylor Park's remote weather station, the National Field Moisture Database, and from fire ecology literature. The 2 figures are an example of some of the outputs from FireBehave Plus modeling, such as flame length, rate of spread, likelihood of going from a surface fire to a crown fire, and other similar outputs that will help predict the way Texas Creek will burn. The simple fuel loading tool was also used in conjunction with the Browns data to calculate the tons per acre of carbon that are being stored in the downed woody material. This will be useful for measuring the amount of carbon released by a prescribed burn. As stated earlier, Texas Creek will be thinned before it is burned. Currently, there is only a small area that has been given a thinning prescription. For the rest of Texas Creek, there are several options for thinning. The purpose of this thinning is not only to promote new growth, but also to contain the prescribed burn. If the fire reaches the thinned areas, the purpose of the thinning is to keep the area surrounding the prescribed burn as a surface fire, which is far easier to contain and put out than a crown fire. If the trees being thinned contain a mistletoe infestation, mistletoe sanitation will be prescribed to clear out the mistletoe infested trees and provide a buffer to healthy trees. Pre-commercial thinning reduces dense crown canopy to low/moderate crown closure by removing most of the trees ages 30 to 70. Overstory removal will reduce mature lodgepole in the area and reduce seedlings, saplings, and medium-sized lodgepole trees to around 50%, reducing risk of crown fire and opening the overstory up for smaller trees. If the area needs overstory removal but is diseased, then clear cut is prescribed. As these areas are thinned, they will either be masticated or piled and burned as they collect trees. For this project's recommendations, I split the Taylor Park Environmental Assessment Area of Texas Creek into smaller sections to make different sets of recommendations. I split the prescribed burn area into 4 units that can be burned separately. The thinning units were also split into 5 units to make better recommendations to contain a fire. I recommend that the fire units are burned at different time periods to test the effectiveness of the burns. And since the wind direction is from the northwest, the burns will start in fire unit 1 and move east. Because of this, the thinning in units 1 and 3 can be pre-commercial thinning while using mastication. Unit 4 may also be pre-commercial thinning, but pile burning is recommended to reduce the fuel loads. Thinning in units 2 and 5, if not infested with mistletoe, should be prescribed overstory removal with pile burning to prevent any potential crown fires on the east half of Texas Creek outside of the prescribed burn area. I would like to give a special thanks to David Carr, the Forest Service Fuel Specialist and my community sponsor, who has helped me immensely throughout this whole project. I would also like to give thanks to Arthur Haynes, the Forest Service silviculturist, who created the data collection points and provided support for data collection. Also, my mentor, Dr. Jonathan Coop, for all his knowledge and help. The Gunnison Fire Module and Engine, who assisted with data collection. And also the Gunnison Timber Crew, who also assisted with data collection. Thank you.